Good morning, everybody. It's Thursday, the 8th of January 2026, and it's 6:30, and starting my morning run. I'm going to talk about the weather today, and a thing that we can't do anything about, but certainly is going to have an impact on your running. I have talked about this before, maybe even I'll say a few of the same things that I said in some earlier videos, but I think they're still pertinent and worth talking about. Most of Australia is in the middle of heat wave conditions at the moment. Temperature in Sydney, or in parts of Sydney, been 40 degrees or more, and according to yesterday's weather, something like 42.5, I think, in Adelaide. So pretty hot days, and the health authorities are issuing all sorts of advisories about what to do. Stay inside, close your blinds. If you don't have air conditioning, go somewhere that does, like a local shopping centre or the library perhaps, things like that. So, pretty serious matters, and young babies and the elderly, and I suppose I'm in that category myself, at coming up on 73 this year. It can be hard to regulate your body temperature, and can be some pretty nasty health consequences, and sadly even some fatalities due to extreme heat. And what's all this got to do with running, you might ask? Well, obviously with extremely high temperatures you have to be sensible, and maybe even think differently about your running. The first point to consider is that you are responsible for your own health and your own fitness and so on. So if you normally run with a group, the person who's the head of that group or organises the course that week or month or whatever it is, that however your group does it, they're not responsible for your personal health and safety. You decide for yourself whether you're going to go running, whether it's safe and sensible for you to do so. If it's park run, the run director can't know everybody's personal details, There's a defib, as you know, and there is a tail walker that can advise of any incidents on the course. But you know, you've made the decision that you're going to go running, and if you think, oh, it's going to be too hot for me, then it's perfectly sensible for you to give it a miss. If it's possible, run early in the morning. Obviously, because that's cooler than later in the day. If you can't run early in the morning like I am, then wait till the evening when it's the most extreme of the heat has gone and things have cooled down a little bit. Early in the morning, the UV index is quite low as well, so you haven't got to be concerned about that as much as you would be if you decided to run later in the day. As you're in the middle of the day, and about midday through till about 3 o'clock, maybe 4 o'clock, best advice is to stay inside, run later in the day, or maybe just not run that day at all. The second thing you might have to do is think about your distance. You might normally run 10k and think nothing of it, but even now the overnight temperature dropped down to about 15 degrees from the mid-30s that it was during the day. I'm expecting another mid-30s day today, so it's going to get up there fairly quickly. So maybe instead of running 10k's, you might have to say, well, I'll only run 5 or something. You know, that'll affect your weekly volume, of course, and might affect your training schedule, but it's a sensible decision to make. The two big problems that you face on really hot days are heat stroke and dehydration. Heat stroke just means you just get so hot, your body shuts down and literally overheats. And dehydration means that you haven't got enough fluid in your body. And again, the same thing will happen. Your body will eventually shut down. It just stops working. And very serious health issues that you don't want to have. You can't do anything about the heat stroke except not be out in the heat. Dehydration, you need to drink plenty of fluids the day before. The bottle of water that you're swigging as you go out the door or carrying while you run will stop you feeling thirsty. It probably doesn't have that much of an effect on your hydration. You needed to do that the day before. You finished yesterday's run. My Garmin app tells me how much I sweated. I don't take a lot of notice of it, but clearly if you ran and sweated a litre, then you need to replace that fluid, and you do that progressively throughout the day by drinking. Water's generally the best thing. Other sports drinks, they require energy from the body to dissolve the sugars and so on. But water's probably the best thing. In Australia we have a slogan: slip, slop, slap. So slip on sunnies, sunglasses. The glare from the sun's not that strong at the moment, but if you was protecting yourself from the glare, you're protecting your eyes from UV radiation. Now, I don't wear sunglasses because I don't like them. If you wear glasses and they have tinted lenses that go dark when you go outside, they do provide UV protection. So sunglasses is an option. Slip on the sunnies, slop on some sunscreen. Again, the UV index at this time of the day is not all that high, but you want to protect yourself from whatever there is in terms of UV light. And you can slap on a hat because it protects the top of your head, and if you're a bloke like me who hasn't got a lot of hair there, that's important. So it protects the top of your head. Also, if it's got a peak or a bill at the front, then in the morning that provides some shade for your eyes and face. And also the hat helps to absorb sweat that might otherwise run down your face and into your eyes and be irritating. Clothing is important. You might get ready for your run, and there's a slight nip in the air. Yesterday morning, for example, quite foggy outside my front door, but it was still warmish already. So you want to wear, or I prefer, loose-fitting clothing, so that if there's any hint of a breeze, the air can circulate and you get some cooling effect. If the clothing you wear is skin tight, you're not going to get that cooling effect. So for me, I prefer loose-fitting shorts and a singlet type top with large armholes so I can avoid chafing. Chafing is worse when you're sweating because it just seems to rub more and be more irritating. If you decided you needed a light jacket of some sort, then at some point you're going to need to get it off. and then you're going to have to carry it around your waist or something, and that's going to affect cooling around your body as well. Now, I was mentioning run directors at Parkrun. As I said at the start of this run, it's 6:30, and already I can feel it warming up. You can see there's a clear blue sky with no clouds. Most park runs, you'll probably be pretty safe, but it's again your own decision, because you know park runs start at 7 o'clock in Queensland, 7 o'clock in Sydney, 8 o'clock in most of the rest of New South Wales and Victoria, 9 o'clock in Tasmania. So even then you'll probably be okay, but you need to make your own decision about that. I think, well, okay, just feels like it's going to be too hot for me today, or if I'm going park running, I'm probably not going to get a PB today. I'm just going to try and run the course, or maybe today instead of running I'll just go a bit slower. I still want to do the park run, and I don't need to go flat chat. I talked about hydration already, and I had said in an earlier video that if you were running a 5 or a 10k, in normal circumstances you probably don't need to carry water. But on a day like today, you might want to do that. And if you're not carrying water, if there's no water where you started your run, like there wasn't where I started, it might be a good idea to just put some water in the car or the bike or whatever it is that you're using for transport, so that at the end of the run, when you are feeling thirsty, you've got the water, rather than having to wait till you get home. And the 5 or 10 minute difference till you get home might not mean too much, but like they say in the Scouts, it's better to be prepared and have it and not need it than need it and not have it. So for individuals, try and run in the morning if you can. If you can't run in the morning, run later in the day. Remember, slip, slop, slap. Loose fitting clothing so that you've got some air circulating, and think about distance, and also water. Now, if you're part of a organised running event, whether it's a race, or it's your running club, or it's your park run, as I said earlier, you do so at your own risk. The park run director will give you a briefing at the start of the event, tell you about any potential hazards on the course and so forth. Your decision to run is your own. The run director in extreme circumstances might be advised by health authorities to cancel their event because of extreme heat. We had a period back in around 2021, I think it was, it might have been 2020, and there were really bad fires around Goulburn, and the health authorities advised the run director to cancel the park run because of heavy smoke. Heavy smoke traps the heat in, first of all. It also obviously makes it more difficult to breathe as well. So the run director is going to be guided by that sort of advice. And if they think there's any doubt, possibly err on the side of caution and cancel the event. Your running club, group, whatever it is, will have a similar situation where they think, oh, it's just too hot, too dangerous today, I'll cancel it. Or you make your own choice and say, well, I don't think it's going to be a good idea to go today, so I'm not going to go. Now, if you've entered one of those big running events, you paid an entry fee and so on, then I don't want to get too deeply into legal issues, but the people who organise those events. You're right, how you going? Hey dogs. Do have a duty of care. In 2025, the Cape Town Marathon was cancelled because high winds just made it too dangerous for the runners to be out there. The potential for injury was too great a risk. But they would say the same things that I've said. You run at your own risk, hydrate, loose-fitting clothing, sunscreen, hat, etc. And if you're feeling fatigued, you're feeling the heat, stop, walk for a while perhaps, slow down your pace maybe, step off the course altogether, and you come to a drink station, stop, and either give yourself some time to recover or report to someone who's presumably wearing some sort of identifying clothing. They're an official of some sort, marshal or whatever, that you're not feeling well, and they'll try and find some shade for you perhaps, and keep an eye on you. Don't push through, because in times of extreme heat like that, your body's giving you a message, and it's a message you want to listen to, because failure to do so could have some pretty catastrophic outcome. You might end up spending some time in hospital trying to rehydrate and so forth. All right, those are my thoughts about running in the weather. We can't control it, we have to be aware of it, and it has to influence how you run or when you run. If you've got some thoughts or comments, leave them in the usual place. When I become aware of them, I will respond. Thanks for watching. Run safely. Enjoy your day. And I'll talk to you when I'm making the next running video.